Uh, my name's Kenneth, and I know everything this guy's talking about. I've dug through the internet and found lots of terrible, horrifying things and spoke to many guys in my similar situation. It's really a shame that people who are absolute strangers to your family can come in and have this whole industry built around destroying and dismantling your family, and they're profiting off of it. You know, it's like a military-industrial complex, we know about that. Food industrial complex, we know about that. Racial inequality, we know about that. Poor school systems, we know about that. But nobody talks about family courts. And that is really something I went through, parental alienation, not being able to see my dad while he paid child support to my mom. And I was used as a tool to hurt my dad. And I have children whose mother uses them to hurt me. I moved them out of state when I had a court order to see them every 2 weeks for a weekend every 2 weeks. I had to fight tooth and nail for everything I got. And then when it was taken away by their mom withdrawing them from school and moving all the way across the country, there was nothing I could do about it. And every time I went to the courthouse day after day to inform them there was a kidnapping, they just told me, file a motion, file a motion. How was I supposed to file a motion and get her served when she was hiding? Couldn't do it. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children was able to help me get a court date within 2 weeks. They were actually helping me. I had someone find her social security number and find out that she had a job and she was employed. And that's how I was able to track her down with the aid of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and start to initiate the process of getting my visits back and having any relationship with my child, who told me that she was living in a trailer park that had so many roaches she was getting asthma and they would bite her on her arms. And now I only have 30 days a year with my children, and you know, that's a lot of time that I'm not able to nurture them, and a lot of time that I'm not able to nurture myself, because just as much as I teach them, they teach me. I've paid into child support around $40,000, and which has been able to, I haven't been able to be a homeowner, and also been homeless, and also if I do have a tax refund, it goes straight that way. Anyway, they're trying to claim that I owe still $20,000 in child support on top of the $40,000 I've already paid. I'm only 33. Their mom makes $50,000 a year her first year working, and I supported her through her school, and even though she makes $50,000 and I may not be employed, I still have to pay. And so the child's best interest is an excuse in order to impoverish me and enrich the other. So that's unequal protection under the law, and it's horrible, you know, when your child is trying to ask you, well, why don't you have any money, Dad? Why don't you have a place to live, Dad? And I have to say, well, I have to pay the child support. There's nothing I can say. And I skimp and I squirrel away whatever I can so that 30 days per year, they're like the happiest days of my life when I get to be with them. And it's such a great time, you know. It's not just me that's being alienated. Their grandmother, their grandfather, their cousins, their nieces, their aunts, their uncles. It's a huge hole in everyone's life, because my two children don't get to be at Christmas or birthdays or any holidays or on a casual lazy Saturday afternoon. My nephew's always asking me, when are such and such coming to visit? I can't tell them. Well, when does their visit start? I can't tell you. It's when their mom says. So one person has all the rights and the other has none. And it's for countless men out here. Countless. You know. Statistics do often lie, but they often tell uncomfortable truths. Such as, you know, oh, men are more violent than women, so women should have the kids. When, if statistically wise, it's lopsided in parents who have psychotic breaks and hurt their children, and men just get the brunt of everything. And we're just expected to fess up. They say, well, get another job. That's the answer to everything. Get another job. You know, if I make $12.50 an hour at 40 hours a week after taxes and child support, I'm well below the poverty line, even though I'm working the, 40 hours a week, 4 weeks a month. After taxes and child support, I don't have enough to have gas to get to work. I'm basically living with a cracker in my mouth, and then the only way a guy can survive is if he has a girlfriend who has a decent job and who understands his situation. So for 18 years, not only do you not get your child, but you also are living in poverty. There's a poster here that shows, if a woman can't provide for her family, she gets, housing, food stamps, utility assistance. And if I can't pay my child support, I get my driver's license taken away, and then I get to go to jail if I don't have the money. What's that all about? The hope that I have is that my children see the wrong in the world and realize that that's something that happened to them, and that it wasn't my fault, and that I did do a lot that I could. But where they live, it's not safe for me to go to that part of the country and just live my life completely focused on trying to be with my children. What about my life? Why were these strangers able to come in and with the stroke of a pen remove countless wonderful times that I'm supposed to be having with my children, and remove countless wonderful times that they're supposed to have with me? They're not getting soccer, they're not getting enrichment, they're not getting, lessons taught to them. They're basically raised by their cell phone and the television and video games. And their heads are full of mush because they don't have two people, trying to make their life better. The mom is overworked. She's got bags under her eyes, and she's had 4 more children by 2 different guys. And so now, instead of having a balanced life, my daughter takes care of her 4 younger siblings. So she didn't get to be a young lady, a kid, and go to Girl Scouts and have a fun young life. She's got to deal with mom's bullshit, because if no one checks your hand, you tend to get out of control. And sometimes when it's kind of slowed down a little, but when she's with me, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, she kind of reverts back to a baby sometimes and sucks her thumb and acts like about the last time that we lived together was when she was 2, and she acts like a 2-year-old. And all I can think is, this is the last time that she was with me, and she's reverting back to this baby when she's with me. All the, here and there, and I'm disturbed that, both of my kids have, psychological issues from being separated from me and being told all kinds of lies about me, and then seeing me in poverty, and wondering why, I'm never around. I've never been able to be, God forbid, if you ever have to go through this and be impoverished and then have the other party move to the other side of the country. So now you can't even be around your kids for that 2 weekends per month, which would just be, when you add it up, it would add up to 1 month per year. You'd still be with your kids. I'm getting my 1 month all in a row instead of 1 month over 12 months. So, I could understand why some people really lose their minds over this, and it really does take a whole lot of inner strength that you end up getting from somewhere in order to cope with it. You know, a lot of guys, they turn to drugs, they turn to alcohol, they end up having more children with more women because they're not able to focus on their children, because the government, or so-called government, has stepped in and forcibly taken away their right to their own self, their own child. You got guys paying $1,200 a month in child support and not getting to see their child. You got guys who are, you know, rich and famous, paying hundreds of thousands of dollars per month to support a child. But it's as if, as the speaker before me said, saying the best interest of the child is like a slogan to cover up a lot of unethical activities by everyone involved. There's a whole industry to destroy the family, but there's seems to be no industry to reunite a family. When you have an issue with your spouse or your lover or mother of your child or father of your child, the only remedy that they provide is to further separate you. Separation orders. There's no individual case-by-case basis dealing with anything. It's a broad stroke, and then it feeds you into lawyers, and it feeds you into psychological professionals. It feeds you into a whole bunch of strangers who have their best interests at heart, not yours and not your children's best interests. And this is America. Everything's about money. So everybody should know this already. Everything has been corrupted. You know, medicine's been corrupted, food's been corrupted, your local church is corrupted, your television station, it's all this huge thing, and they're going after the kids younger and younger and taking away your right to even have what is yours. Not just your property right of your house, your car, registering all that, but your own children. So hopefully, as the speaker before me was saying, a lot of social pressure got things to change for big past things in the past. But you know, I don't participate in football games, baseball games, nightclubs, party scenes, because yeah, I kind of had my life removed from me, but it enables me to step back and see what's really going on, because when the citizenry is constantly given bread and circuses, they're not able to focus on any one issue. And meanwhile, shit rolls to a bigger and bigger ball because nobody notices it's happening. So I suffer in silence, he suffers in silence, and she suffers in silence, and God forbid that some of these, that it goes beyond just the court and you get some of the agencies involved in your family. You'll find out that there is no constitution and you have no rights. So God forbid you ever have to deal with this, but we could use all the help we can to unite our alienated parents to actually have some unity within our family and some sense of normalcy, so that the next generation isn't damaged by all this. My name's Kenny. Thanks for listening. Exiledparents.org.